This is Dr. Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Jenn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Likewise, nice to see you again. Such an honor to have you back on the show. You were just on the show for our announcement in regards to our third annual Global Warriors Conference that's coming up here in September 19th through the 20th. That's in Palm Coast, Florida. It will be at the Hilton. Such an honor to have you as a speaker, as well as amazing souls from all over the world, beautiful souls. Grateful for our sponsors and for all of you who will be attending. And now, Jenn, can you tell us a little bit more about you and where are you from?
So I grew up in New York. I grew up in mostly Staten Island and Brooklyn, and I had pretty tumultuous upbringing, had a lot of struggle, kind of got myself together in my late 20s after overcoming life on the streets, drug addiction, having a child under the worst of circumstances, and then went all in on a real estate career, did that for 30 years, and then lost everything and had to rebuild at the age of 51, which was actually the biggest blessing in my life. And so that'll be a lot of what I'm talking about at your conference.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to your inspirational talk. Now, Jenn, you talk about life on the streets. Let's circle back for a moment. Talk to us a little bit more about it. Let's go deeper. Walk us through the moment that you decided not to be in that environment any longer.
When I figured out I was pregnant, and I just somehow that finally, I think, I felt very disconnected my whole life, and I really didn't have any role models around me, or nobody told me you can go to college, you can be anything you want. I just didn't like what I saw around me, and I think that's what led me to go spiral down so far. And when I wound up pregnant, somehow, I guess that gave me that connection. I felt connected to something else and had a greater good and a greater purpose to live for.
I love it. And what inspired you to do the work that you do now?
It kind of, I was in real estate. In the last few years of real estate, I was coaching and training and hiring realtors, and I did phenomenal. I also was very much like a consultant coach with my clients. I got into commercial real estate. I helped a lot of people build very valuable portfolios. And then the pandemic hit and real estate had shut down. And I was the founder of my local business council. And even though I wasn't the chairwoman anymore, I was still receiving all the emails. And then all of a sudden there was just this onslaught of pain and fear and freaking out from the local business community. And I got to work. And that's where I realized I had this like really weird gift, because I'm a high school dropout. I don't have any official education. And well, obviously I have the School of Hard Knocks and 30 years of experience in real estate. I also 10x'd a real estate company in just a couple of years. But it was so funny because here I got to work helping all these businesses, all different kinds of businesses. And I kind of just knew what to do from A to Z, how to get them out of the woods, how to change their mindset, and how to, create systems and processes and structure that we're going to work with the new reality that we were in. And that's when I realized that this is what my calling is. And then I started there, and then I went like totally spiritual. And then I realized that my wholeness was really to be a business coach with a spiritual foundation.
I love it. Let's talk a little bit more about your faith. Let's go a little bit deeper. And how has it transformed your life?
So funny. I really had such a struggle with the word faith most of my life. My father, who was not really a big part of my life and not someone I really respected a ton, he was a Jehovah's Witness, and there was some extreme circumstances around his affiliation. No offense to Jehovah's Witnesses at all. I respect all religions, but I didn't have a good experience with that. And then my mom, who raised me, always referred to herself as a recovering Catholic and had very, negative things to say about religion in general. And then I was really struggling when I got off the streets. I got directly into real estate, but I never really healed. And I started seeking and searching for things to help me. And there was a Buddhist monastery near my house, and I stumble in there and I, by accident, enroll in a program that at the end of it, 7 years later, you become an ordained Buddhist priest. Now, Buddhism is not a religion. It's not about a god, or, and so I would even say at this point, I really didn't know if I believed in God or not. And that word faith wasn't part of my vocabulary. But then when I really started creating space and creating stillness and going within, the more you go within, the harder it is to deny God. And then I really, really made that word faith more of an embodiment. And the faith was really just moving forward with hope, no matter what, and knowing that I am connected and I am supported by source, by God, by the divine, whatever you want to call it. There's just no denying it. And what I have survived, and I've more than survived, I'm here to help other people through whatever they're struggling with. It doesn't have to be addiction and life on the streets, but whatever they're struggling with that's holding them back from living their highest and best purpose. And that's what faith means to me.
I love it. Yes. And after all the challenges that I went through as well, I got baptized again as an adult. It has transformed my life, and literally just letting go and letting him. Oftentimes I hear from folks, that's the biggest part for them, is giving that control to him. But I say, just remember whose you are.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
So
yes.
powerful.
Thanks, Jenn. So let's talk a little bit more about your company and tell us a little bit more about the work that you do.
So my company is me, and I help business owners, entrepreneurs, people who want to transition out of one career into being a business owner. Wow, the wind is really picking up here.
That's okay.
Into being a business owner. And my whole thing is helping people build a business that supports a life that nourishes their soul, the life of their dreams, really being able to achieve your desires. Where I find most people live their life around their business, around their career, and don't really actually get into the full level of living, of being alive and experience, and deep levels of love and healing and forgiveness and all the beautiful things.
I love it.
That's the basis of what I do.
Thank you, Jenn. Now, your story is one of resilience, transformation, and soulful alignment, and you could have easily given up, but you didn't. Why not?
I don't know. I wish I can sit here and act like, I have that answer. And that's where it's really hard to deny the presence of God, or deny that I have a purpose and I have a calling, because like I said earlier, people don't survive what I've survived. Never mind go on to do the things that I do and have the incredible life that I have and have the joy and the freedom that I have. And I was born that way. I'm innately a very positive person. It's very easy for me to look at situations from a positive light, a higher perspective. I vibrate on a very high frequency naturally. And now that I am very mindful about that and raise my awareness and raise my frequency and my vibration on a daily basis, I feel invincible. I feel, unshakable. I call it also anti-fragile. When circumstances happen, I literally am excited about, wow, so who am I going to be on the other side of this? That being said, universe, God, I'm good. I don't need any more lessons. But if and when they come, I do know that I'm growing into a higher, better version of myself, and I'm serving a purpose that I don't see yet. And I think I've always known that, even though I couldn't articulate it and I wasn't fully embodying it. I think I've always known it.
And it's so high on this call right now, and that energy, right, that you're talking about, it's very high. And thanks for sharing that. And everyone's healing journey is truly unique. Thanks so much for that as well, as far as healing, because it does take time. Now, Jenn, you and I recently spoke about cancer. We do have loved ones going through cancer right now, a cancer battle. What message do you have for an individual who may be battling with cancer right now, or have a loved one similar to you and I battling cancer?
With every negative, there's a positive. and trying to look for what that is, whether that's, really finding the source of love that you've never felt or established, whether that's finding forgiveness and true understanding of your loved ones, whether that's finally letting go and surrendering. It's hard to say, right? And I know it's easy, and I am going through it with my mom right now, on top of her in, cognitive impairment, and it's her reliving trauma over and over again. And I know sometimes I kind of annoy her when I'm like, look, we got to stay in the space of love and joy and gratitude. But really, that's what it's about. It's not about what's happening to you. It's the reaction that you have. And no matter what, when you go within, you can find that place of peace. And sometimes you don't really find it until these things happen. So trying to stay in the present moment, and that's what gratitude is. And gratitude is the ultimate space to be able to be in. And so whatever it is that you're facing, and I am certainly not downplaying anybody that's going through cancer or anybody's watching a loved one go through it. But if you can just stay in this very present moment and help your loved one to do the same, and help them to heal, and help them to, actualize to their highest level. And you don't need a body to do that. You need your spirit. You need your soul. And I'm not afraid of death. I don't think I ever have been. So again, that can be easy for me to say. But I think if you can get to that place and just be so grateful for this moment right here and right now, and be the very best version of yourself in the moment, you can find the most beautiful space for peace and love and joy, no matter what.
That's very true. Thank you so much, Jenn. Now, Jenn, what gives you the most joy?
Well, probably my granddaughter.
Why?
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She is,
I see.
like, wow. Like, she teaches me something all the time, every day. Last night, she called me and she sang, she's 5. She just turned 5. And she just sang One Love. She sang the whole Bob Marley song to me. And I'm like, what? And then she was explaining to me like what the song meant, and just, but in that moment, that joy and just being able to, and I think what it really is knowing that all that I've been through and all that I've overcome, I really am not only healing my lineage, my daughters, my granddaughters, I'm helping my mom heal. And I really truly believe that I'm healing my entire ancestry, breaking the patterns and releasing the suffering, the pain. And I think that's what really brings me the most joy, which can, make me not the most fun person to be around sometimes, because I just I'm always going deep. I'm addicted to healing and deep conversations and self-actualization, but that's what brings me joy.
I love it. Now, what message do you have for an individual who's maybe faced a challenge and they're ready to give up, Jenn?
It's a choice, and it's not an easy choice. It's not an easy choice. Just take it second by second. Take the inventory of this very moment. Connect to your breath. That is source. That is God. That is whatever it is for you. But being able to be present with that and taking it one step at a time, believing that this too shall pass. Look, life is chaos. Life is suffering. There is no good without bad. But really what it is our judgment of it. When we're going through a challenge, it's really our judgment that, this sucks. This is really difficult. This is this is that. And there's no denying that there are things that are not fun. But if we just have that faith that there's a reason and everything is happening for me. And again, who am I going to be on the other side of this challenge? Because listen, I can tell you, I have been through it all, and I have risen a better version of myself every single time.
I love it. There is hope. Thanks so much, Jenn, for that reminder to everyone. And now, Jenn, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Really identifying and figuring out who you are, why you are here. So if you find yourself at 2 a.m. looking at the bottom of an ice cream container asking who you are and why you are here, just know that I have been there too. And it really took me to the age of 51 or 52 to be able to answer that. And now that is my favorite mantra and my favorite affirmation, because I actually know the answer to this. I am a way shower. That is my belief. And so when things get tough, or when I have limiting beliefs, or doubt creeps in, or circumstances come on and I'm like, what is this? I just go into, I know who I am. I know who I am. I know who I am. So living with that certainty, and then living in alignment with it. When you really figure out who you are, why you're here, what your calling is, what your purpose is. And then I feel like depression, anxiety, anger, fear, doubt, all of that comes when you're not in alignment. Your choices, your actions, the things you do on a daily basis, your habits are completely out of alignment with who you are and what you're meant to be doing. So staying in alignment, and that doesn't mean perfection. I call it impeccability. With wherever you're at right here in this moment, you are doing your very best. And sometimes that could be, I had to stay in bed all day, right? And giving yourself love and grace in that process, and knowing that, just because you have a vision of this best version of yourself, the divine version of yourself, doesn't mean that you're going to be there in every single moment, because otherwise we wouldn't be here as human beings.
That's right. Very powerful. Thanks so much, Jenn. And thanks for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. Now, you are also a speaker, as we mentioned before, for the 3rd Annual Global Warriors Conference 2025 in Palm Coast, Florida. That will be at the Hilton this year. It's a faith-based leadership and business event. For those of you who are listening in, this is an event you do not want to miss. Get in the room. And we look forward to seeing you at the 3rd Annual Global Warriors Conference in Palm Coast, Florida. Again, Jenn, I'll see you there. And thanks so much. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome.